Okay. One of the things government is doing at the moment, and this is significant, is that government is trying to plug the several, identified personnel gaps that we have seen. Because if you have a service where one person is doing the job of three persons, you don't expect that the service will do well, or that person will put in his optimal performance. We're bringing in 1,594 people into the service. Government is working very, very hard on this. Over the next few days, we'll bring in the first batch of those new intake, and there will be about 300. But what is significant about this is that merit is the underlying consideration. Recently, I gave an interview where a reporter asked me whether there will not be other lists apart from the merit list, and I told him very clearly that there's just one list that we have, and that list is the merit list. So the public service is being repositioned, prepared, and professionalized to serve the interest of the public. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now I talked about merit just now, and let me just say a little more about it. Mr. Governor is very clear about this. He has told us very clearly that it cannot be anything else but merit. His comment, which I quote here, government succeeded in the First Republic because the civil and public service was effective, and it has made it very clear that it was because merit was the order of the day then that service or the service succeeded. And so we're going back to that era. These difficult decisions have to be taken, and I'm sure you know what I mean, because a lot of pressure is coming from different angles. Take this, take that. But Mr. Governor has shown courage and leadership, capacity to take those decisions, and we're sticking to our guns to ensure that merit is the order of the day as far as this employment process is concerned. As I said earlier, there are only 4 first-class graduates in the service at the moment, and the governor is committed to ensuring that several more are brought in. And it's not as if these persons have not been applying, but unfortunately, they have not been allowed to come in because of the way the system has been managed over time. I have led the team that have been interviewing these first-class persons who are being brought in, and they are quite fantastic. And I can say this with every sense of responsibility that when they come in, there will be a very huge value addition to what we have as a talent pool in the public service. Next slide. Next slide, please. Now, no, this is the next one. The cost estimate for the public service recruitment as part of government institutional reform agenda for the various categories of workers that we're bringing in is about 1.816688 million. That's nearly 1.9 million for that additional set of people that we're bringing on board. Of course, a lot of attention has been given to infrastructure already, but more work is being done in that direction. Next slide. Blocks A and B are being remodeled. Of course, you know that C and D have been done already. And just to let you know, when we're in the Ministry of Justice those days prior to 2016, the kind of office accommodation that we had was one in which you couldn't stay in. You didn't want to stay in the office beyond 1 or 2 hours. But now it's a lot different. You need to go and see the secretariat building. A lot of the rooms that you have there, that civil servants, even at the lowest rung of the ladder, are using are close to what I have here in the office of the head of service. The education hub is being designed and worked out. This will house the education ministry and other education-related agencies in the state. A new secretariat building is also being proposed to be built. Next slide, please. These slides just show you what it is now, the office environment of civil servants. Of course, if you have this kind of environment, you work in this kind of environment, your output is very, very likely to be better and higher than if the environment was a lot less. Okay, go to the next slide. Welfare and staff development initiatives. Government is not only just building infrastructure. Government is developing the civil servant and the public servant all the way around. For instance, in terms of welfare and staff development initiatives, promotion now in the public service is as and when due. The 2020 promotion has been approved by Mr. Governor, and that's the first time in so many years that has been done. For many years in public service, there were arrears and arrears of promotion. I lost about 5 years when I was the director, but now just last year's promotion has been approved by government. There's been ratification of promotion after retirement, because at the point, the public service, because promotions were not being done as and when due, there was a circular that was issued in the public service which took away promotion from officers who had retired. So even though it was not the fault of an officer not to have been promoted while he was in service, but the moment he got retired, he lost that promotion. And Mr. Governor said that cannot be. We reviewed that, and Mr. Governor restored that promotion to them. We're also working on executive compensation package. Mr. Governor has told me severally, let's look for how to put money in the hands, legitimately in the hands of civil servants, public servants, so that what they earn can take them home. So we're working very hard on that. The duty to allowances have been reviewed. In fact, in some cases, they were tripled, and in some cases, they were doubled. And that's the first time that's happened in so many years in Edo State. And of course, you know, right now, many states are retrenching workers. Some are even, agreeing with their workers to pay less than, they should earn ordinarily. But in Edo, government is doing the exact opposite, just to motivate workers to do their best. The rules of service are being reviewed. Next slide. Training and retraining. You have the John Odighi Oyego Public Service Academy, which is the best in the South. It is dedicated completely to the training of public servants. The training.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Okungbowa. You have 1 minute, please.
Oh, there. Okay. We prompt a regular payment of salaries and pensions. Every civil servant, every public servant today gets a salary on or before 26th of every month. We're bringing on board e-governance. Government has invested heavily in e-governance. Mr. Governor says he will be the last governor in Edo State to treat files manually, and a lot is already being done in that direction. Contracts have been signed already with reputable companies to consummate this initiative. Of course, you also know about the pension reform that has gone on, to the extent that today, if a worker retires from service, he begins to earn his pension from the very next month. And many people do not realize how impactful that is on the work of the civil servant or the public servant, because the public servant now knows that the moment he retires from service, he has an assured future. Of course, the governor also brought us into the contributory pension scheme in 2017. And let me just quickly tell you that the law for that scheme was enacted in the year 2010. But government did not key into it until this administration came, or this governor came in 2017. And the reason for that is not far-fetched. It takes a lot of capital outlay to fund the contributory pension scheme. But this governor took it headlong and is implementing it, even though quite a lot of states are reneging on it and backing out of it. A lot has been done. A lot is still being done. We're developing performance management strategies and scorecards. Just move on, so that we can quickly round up. Okay, but discipline is key for us in this process. We shall leave no stone unturned in bringing about a service that has integrity and that is effective. Of course, those who cannot cope may have to exit. Mr. Governor has said he will not sack anybody, but will not stop anybody from sacking himself, because the way we are going, with time, the kitchen will be too hot for some people, and some people will have to live on their own. Just like Harry Truman, the 23rd American president, said, if you can't stand the heat, then get out of the kitchen.
Okay, Mr. Okungbowa, you have more chance of dealing with this topic once we have questions on the civil service reforms. So yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. Maybe I should just conclude now. Please, yeah. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Governor said the welfare, conclusion please. The welfare of civil servants is critical to us. That is why you do not see me with a long convoy. I'm quoting Mr. Governor. Instead, I will use that money to better the lives of Edo people. What Mr. Governor has been doing in Edo State is unprecedented in the history of the public service in the state. Building inclusive institutions, is building the civil service like never before. And I will just leave you with the words of Lee Kuan Yew, the Prime Minister mentor of Singapore, the late Prime Minister mentor of Singapore. He said it does not matter whether a cat is black or white, so long as it catches mice, it is a good cat. That is what Mr. Governor has been doing in the public service, bringing people of the best quality to come into the service so that government can use the public service as that instrument to reach the people, to deliver to the people quality governance. Thank you very much. I wish I had more time, but thank you for listening and God bless you.